Our goal here is to look at making a histogram on your graphing calculator. Here's the simplest way. First, make sure that you have your list of data. So I have an L1 here. This is a list of Mark McGwire's home runs from each of his seasons from 86 to 2001. Whatever your data list is, know where it is. To make your histogram, please follow these steps. First, press your equals button. Depending on who else is using the calculator or what else you're using it for, you may have equations graphed in here. We don't want them there. So if you have something in there, you can either get rid of it. So get on top, press clear, it goes away. Or if it's maybe something for another class that you want to keep for later, just turn it off, which means you would get on top of the equal sign, press enter, and now it's still there, but it won't graph. And then later on, you can just get on top of the equals again, press enter, turn it back on to graph. Where we want to be is in the stat plot menu, which is second y equals. Right now, we should see that all the plots are off. Let's just go into plot number 1. So press enter. First, turn the plot on. Secondly, you've got to tell the calculator what type of plot to make. We're making a histogram. That's the third option here. It's going to ask you, all right, I'm making a histogram of some data. What data? Well, our data is in L1, so there you go. Next up is how you set your viewing window. Now, there are two ways to set your viewing window. The easiest is your stat zoom. So if you press zoom, option number 9, so you can either just press 9 or you can scroll down and find it. It says zoom stat. It basically chooses your window for you. It looks at the data, decides what's going to look nice, and makes your histogram. This is typically just fine. So let's trace it. Notice it'll say, okay, my first bar goes from 3 up to 16.4, and there were 3 data values in there. My second bar goes from 16.4 to 29.8, and there were 2 data values in there. This is perfectly good. However, sometimes you want to specify how wide your bars are. ZoomStat doesn't let you do that. It picks for you. So for our example, looking at Mark McGwire's home runs, I would maybe want to go in groups of 10, not groups of 13.4. So to do that, go into your window, and we're simply going to say, all right, I want my bars to be 10 units wide. The place to do that is in the X scale. Put in a 10, now your bars are 10 units wide. In addition, it's not a bad idea to reset a more reasonable starting point. Like if we're counting home runs, rather than starting at 3, why don't we start at 0? So now my first bar is going to go 0 to 10. Second bar, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Those are just nicer divisions. As far as how far you should go, as I look at my data set, I see the maximum was 70. Now, if I only go up to 70, it's going to put the 70 in its own bar that goes off the screen. So I'm going to go all the way up to 80 for my top X maximum. That way, that last bar that's going to have the 70 in it will fit on the screen because the bar itself will go from 70 to 80. Now, here's the important thing. Don't repress zoom 9. That's going to undo the work we just did. Instead, now press your graph button, and there you've got a nice looking histogram. Same thing, press trace. My first bar now goes 0 to 10, and there were 3 numbers in there. The bar from 10 to 20, well, there weren't any of those. From 20 to 30, there were 2 of those, etc., etc. So for most histograms, zoom 9 is fine. It's only if you want to set a specific bar width or a specific bottom or top, X min, X max, that you would go into your window and set those yourself.